Hey, right, it's the Mad Master here. Just doing a quick video to announce that my upcoming album has turned a corner today. I'm working on ostensibly there's 3 or 4 more songs to go. I might get a keyboardist to do this ballad, which ironically for my Manowar is or the Fall of Manowar video, which people have on my channel that people have not liked. It's very Manowar esque about triumph and victory and all this stuff. So, I haven't released any music on my channel, my Pathless Land, which is my music project channel. Oh shit! I gotta go get my coffee made. Um, Almost forgot. So like, all right, here we go. I haven't released any music since my last version of a song that I did. It was an instrumental that I did. Instrumental version of a song I did over a year ago, which wrote about one of my ex-girlfriends. But the song was it's kind of funny that that song particularly I just don't like to see by thankfully diminishing double chin because I'm losing weight. The song that I wrote about my ex-girlfriend was started in 2019 July. I finished it in March 20 or February 2020, and I did an instrumental. Had the song from when I was a teenager that I wrote too, about based on William S. Burroughs' William S. Burroughs' Naked Lunch, and wrote a song about the priority of Scion conspiracy theory, and that's the track I'm working on now. Which, if you know about my musical career, then you know what song that is. Not many people do know about my music. You can go to Matto Warrior 777 on my YouTube. It's a lot of different stuff, varying quality. Some of it's kind of shitty, and some of it's pretty good. I'm doing a 13 song album now. Basically, the first song was started in 2017. If you count this sort of Pink Floydian sort of song that I wrote back then, that I did vocals on for my last release, my last official. Actually, did a CD for this too. I did the vocals on that one, but I have Diabetes Artigas, who was a excellent singer who has actually worked with members of Exodus and stuff, doing all the vocals on the album, first time ever, and amazing Venezuelan vocalist. Just calling these things out, you know, I know some of my political stuff may be controversial to people, and some of my stuff otherwise may be controversial to people, so I didn't really want to mix my two channels together, and I still don't, but I'm just saying, you know, I mean, anybody that hasn't questioned things in some way over the last year or two in general, or just questions things in general, I just, you know, that's fine. You know, you could still like separate the art from the artist. You know, I still listen to Iced Earth. I mean, that's that far gone. I don't know. Some people may disagree, but yeah. So Glenn Wellman is the drummer. He's a transplant to UK from South Africa. Fucking amazing. I have I forgot the name of the guy that did a guest guitar spot, and I don't recall his name because I did it a long time ago. But I'll be putting that on the album. I just forgot his full name. But there's another keyboardist I might be working with. I know Glenn Willman and Dives because I work with them often. When this guy did a guest spot, I asked him to do a little solo. This power metal-ish song, which is another happy affirmative song that I wrote. That story behind that is kind of hilarious. Maybe I'll share it sometime after the album's done. And this new song I'm working on was a new old song. I actually added like 5 or 6 more riffs and parts to the song, so it's about 13 minutes long. It's going to be very progressive. There's a lot of straightforward power metal on the album. There's some Viking Vikingish sort of metal, like Bathory's Viking period / Manowar. You know, that's what begins the album, and then goes to power metal, and then I don't know how I'm going to structure the album. There's a little melodic sort of death metal-ish with, you know, some technical kind of stuff. It's just all over the place. I'm excited. I'm proud that it worked. I mean, basically 3 years, but 4 years if you count that other song, because that's the instrumental parts were from 2017. And I know people, you know, a lot of people like I know just kind of their eyes glaze over when I mention my music or my musical project, and you know, it is what it is. You know, I don't really. I've had some criticisms over the years for various reasons. You know, my songwriting or my production or my vocals when I used to sing. I don't really give a fuck. I just do it. You know, I'll keep doing it. You know. But there, at the same time, you know, waxing philosophically about this, there are songs that do catch on. There's songs that have like thousands of views, you know, I think 10, maybe even 10, or up to 10,000 views on Mad Warrior 777 YouTube. I think, you know, there's some songs that I write, like Let the Legends Be True or Time Will Tell If Our Love Is Gonna Last. People really like. You know, or The Dungeon Master, which is another song I wrote. It's kind of funny. It was a humorous song. There's other songs like At Saturn's Gate that got a lot of criticism, you know, for whatever reason. It's kind of, you know, it's a thrashy song. It's kind of, you know, has some repetitive parts, you know, but it's still going on the album, you know. So there's a lot of different types of stuff that I do and I'm doing on this album. And I'm really excited about it because I'm probably going to make a CD. I'm going to go to this local power metal festival if I'm let in, you know, if you know why. Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe if things get to a certain point, maybe there might be things that have to be done, I guess, you know. So, I mean, as far as getting in places, unfortunately, I don't really want to sell out like that, but, you know, if it is what it is. But I don't think, it so far it looks pretty good as far as requirements and stuff. Maybe they'll put, you know, check my temperature at the door or some crap, and but I'm going to be bringing a bunch of CDs to this power metal festival, more than likely, to disseminate once I'm done with actually the pressing of the CD, which will be pretty soon once I get the mastering done, which ostensibly, like, I mean, I'm fixing up songs that I've been recording for like 2 or 3 years. Like, there's songs that are like unfinished. Like, there's maybe this one part that's really fucked up. I'm not gonna take like a microscope or magnifying glass and look over every part and like, oh my god, it's got to be perfect. You know, I just can't do that. I mean, if I had a full band and I had a real producer, you know, maybe I would do that. But like, at this point in my life, I'm just going to release as much stuff as possible. But it's at a level where the most important thing is to get it mastered and mixed properly. I think mostly even mastered, because the mixing's not bad. I want to have it all sound equal, though. That's the only thing. That's been a problem in the past. You'll have one song that's like mastered differently than the other one. It's like, what the hell? It's like, you know, one song's louder than the other. You know, I noticed that about Whitesnake's 1987 album. Crying in the Rain is louder than all the other songs. I don't know if anybody ever noticed that. But there's stuff on old albums that are classic albums. There's mistakes all over fucking Metallica. Or, you know, I was listening to Judas Priest Painkiller the other day, and One Shot at Glory, when you listen to it on the headphones, there's one guitar that fucks up a little bit. It's like, da, 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 da. You have to, I don't remember the time mark. But you know, there's mistakes all over the place, so I don't give a fuck. Some of my favorite albums have mistakes or little parts that are botched, you know. So I'm just releasing this. There are mistakes. Hopefully none so obvious that you can hear it, you know, right away. Hell, even Emperor, you know, the first song on the Emperor Anthems album, there's like a little part where there's like a little like fret buzz or something when he's doing the acoustic part. It's like, ugh, you know. Fuck, I even heard Malmsteen on some of the early albums had some, like, there were some weird mistakes and shit. Like, like there was an open string and just all sorts of stuff, you know. If you listen to music as long as I have, you hear mistakes. You hear obvious errors, and not everybody's going to Pro Tool everything. I don't give a fuck about that, because when I hear albums, metal albums nowadays, a lot of them just too perfect and too boring. Now I'm going to have, just be based on my budget, it's not going to be perfect in, mixing and mastering might still be a little too modern for an album that doesn't have that high level of technology necessarily, but I'm going to do the best I can. My goal was June 1st, but and actually that's going pretty well. I'm surprised. I'm not going to have the CD pressed by June 1st, I don't think, just based on monetary concerns, but I will definitely have it on Bandcamp, more than likely. And by the way, this project is called Pathless Land. People can make fun of it. I've had actually people make fun of it. People have made fun of my band. I did a video like last year about these people on Facebook making fun of me and my band and my project and stuff. It's like, what else am I gonna do? And actually, I'd rather have people make fun of it than ignore it, which a lot of people do anyways. And whatever. I don't give a fuck. Just like Ian Faith and Spinal Tap, he says, I'm gonna shove it down everybody's throats. I don't give a fuck. People may not like my band or my music. I don't give a shit. I'm working my ass off on it, I have more releases. That's the thing. Like, I played in this band in the early 2000s to mid to late 2000s, and then we broke up. And then me and the drummer got back together and got a different singer and other guitarists and stuff. And we were calling it, we're doing a different style of music. So I quit for various reasons. Not to say least that the other guitarist was just bashing my songwriting and shit. I was like, fuck this, I'm going. Like, maybe it wasn't any good, because he was like a stoner and he just talked like that and had vocal fry all the time. It's called my riffs Encyclopedia Riffs. So I played one last show with that lineup, and then I was like, Pathless Land is my new project, blah blah blah. And then I played with Axed, aka Midi Warlord, which sort of still part of, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we don't really do much nowadays, but it's still kind of a project on the side there. Not my project, by the way. We played live like 6 or 7 times, and then I was involved with Filled with Lies, which is another. It was other guitarist from Axed. We were doing some stuff with open mics and stuff. And that's not really. That's actually somewhat active too. Actually, that actually is somewhat active, because starting to write lyrics for this other song. We're gonna have this singer do more stuff with it. So, I do. I do a lot of music. I'm going to be busting my ass this next couple of weeks to get this new release done, even if it's just a Bandcamp at first. Yeah, I mean, I've thought about why people don't give a fuck about my music and how depressed I get about it, and how it's just like, just people don't seem to care, whatever. But I'm just like, whatever, I used to get bummed out about that a lot, and it's like, this is what I do. This is my dream. This is what I am. It's not making videos about COVID restrictions on YouTube or anything like that. That's not my life. My life is music. My life was meant to be music. My life is not a. I'm not going to give away that project I'm doing, but not quite yet. But I have a lot of stuff I'm doing, but my life is music mainly. That's been my forte. That's what I want to do. That's what I wanted to do. I'm an Adrian Smith. I wanted to do Adrian Smith and Dave Murray. I heard them and I picked up a guitar. Because of those two. Back in 1989 or 90. That's why I wanted to play. People that tell me, some people say doubt that I could get to my goals that I have. With relationships or my music or my businesses or my finances or my having a family. They could really go and I know people have the best intentions, but they, as far as that goes, they could go fuck themselves. I'm sorry. I mean, people may doubt me, and I involved friends and family might doubt me in some ways, but go fuck yourself. I'm gonna do this. I don't give a fuck what you say. I'm gonna bust my ass. I don't get somewhere with some of these things, so. But it does piss me off sometimes about I haven't put enough effort in my music consistently to get it out there lately because I've just been kind of like trying to slowly. Well, first of all, I had to finish this album. The album took it took 3 years because the last one was Alchemy, Mystery, and Mastery, which came out in 2018. But it was like that one is kind of a mixed bag. It's uneven. I like this one a lot more. But that one was, this one is taking longer because I really wanted to get. I really didn't want to recycle the same songs over and over again because sometimes I'll write songs, I just record them like 5 or 6 times or something like that, with different singers or different performances and shit like that. And this time I wanted to like write enough songs that would balance that out. And of course, there's some songs I've recorded before, like it's like at least roughly a little, maybe half of them I've recorded before. But last time it was like stuff I all recorded before pretty much, and even some of my own old band's material. This time it's at least half new material. And the old material is recorded better and differently and has different kinds of stuff with it. I mean, it's like if you listen to Bob Dylan sing All Along the Watchtower and then fucking Jolene Turner does or something. Like, I'm just comparing my vocals to Dives. Like, it's a totally different song and music, So, I mean, some of these songs just had me singing. So that's why I am redoing it. Yeah, I don't know if it'll make an impact or not. But last year I did essentially 2 EPs and 1 single, which there was this acoustic EP I did that's on Bandcamp, and also I did this EP called One More Chance. Another song I wrote about an ex. And actually, to be quite honest, that song is part of a trilogy, which the third song I started writing that, around that same period it was like February of 2020. I just had all these ideas and kind of accumulated these ideas about this kind of conceptual thing with these 3 songs, which Time Will Tell If Our Love Is Gonna Last is the first part. I mean, it's really cheesy AOR, like, trilogy, I call it. It's called the AOR trilogy. And then One More Chance, and then there's another song I'm working on. It sounds a little like Guilty of Love by Whitesnake, actually. When I played along, I actually used the drums to play the riff to, and I sent it to the drummer, and then he recorded his own drums. So it's like kind of has a similar feel. I kind of copied the drums from a Guitar Pro and then recorded my own riffs over it, and then he, the drummer wrote his own drums, obviously. But that's going to come out later this summer. That's going to be an EP. I already have 3 ideas for 3 songs for that one. And that one's really interesting because that has it's more traditional metal. Like, I know there's some really progressive stuff on this new album that I'm doing that's going to be released, but this one is very traditional. It's almost like a different change for Pathless Land. I think some people like this stuff better. A lot of people like my more traditional stuff better, and I realize that. But I really like to push the boundaries a lot of the time. And then later in the year, what I plan to do after this EP, so I have 3 releases coming out. So I have this album, I'll have an EP, and then I'll have a third EP, or a second EP later this year, depending on if people sign up for becoming... I was working with a singer early last year, and we were going to do a live band for Pathless Land, but that fizzled out for obvious fucking reasons. The second EP is going to be more extreme, and it's going to be more pissed off, and probably more neoclassical too, and more death metal. Obviously, I have this death metal song that I wrote, very similar to some of my other death metal-ish songs, B tuning or 7-string or whatever. And I have this other thing that I did years ago for a music theory class, and I did a MIDI file, and then the old drummer in one of my old bands, or my old band, well, does that make sense? I don't know. One of my old band. No, I was in another band too with another different drummer. One of my old bands wrote drum parts to this fucking crazy instrumental part, which is going to be an intro to this other death metal song, and then there's going to be like one or two other songs. That's going to come out later probably in the fall. So I have spring, the album, summer, the EP, fall, the other EP. Hopefully, if things go as well. Actually, today I kind of turned a corner because realized it's not that hard to record if you have good drums and which I do, good drum tracks, and just like try to get the stuff finished. It's going to be challenging, but it is what it is. But yeah, I just keep pumping it out. So essentially, I'm going to have 19 songs released this year, if not more. Thinking about doing a couple more covers because on my channel there was a Foreigner cover of Blue Morning Blue Day last year I did, and Hypocrisy's Roswell 47, which wasn't probably the best, but it was okay. The vocals are really hard to pull off on that. Everything else, but I just keep pumping out the music. I don't care what people think about it. I'm just going to keep doing it. I don't care if people just are apathetic about it, or oh yeah, you do, yeah, really? You came out with an album? You have a CD? Oh yeah, really? Certain people are like that towards me. I don't realize that, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not looking to be worshipped or something as a musician, but just keep in mind, I'm just going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep talking about it. It's like, I don't know, it bothers me sometimes. But if I was in a gigging band, I'm sure there'd be a lot more interest like there was. But the irony, this is what pisses me off, and this is probably at the root of it right here. This is probably why I'm pissed off about all that. Is because the music I'm doing now, with a better singer, with better, some better songwriting, and a really good drummer, I feel is better than the stuff I did when I was with a gigging band. I'm not counting acts necessarily. I'm talking about my previous bands. So what bothers me is people were excited about that, and then their eyes glaze over about this stuff, which I feel like is better material and better, in many ways, better recordings. So it's just kind of unfair, but maybe they just associate me with the old band, and I was told that one of the old bands was kind of cringe live or something like that by a certain person told me that. So that's about all. Peace out.